It's been 5 days since the big news broke around the SEC appealing Judge Torres' ruling within the Ripple case, and it has been very, very exciting since. And the reason why I say that is because of all of the big announcements happening around this. It seems as though the SEC opened a can of worms that they didn't really want to open, and now we are starting to see substantial updates around this. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's start off real quick with the overall market. So it has been 5 days, and XRP did initially sell off. Right now, most of the market is kind of bouncing a little bit, but XRP has a lot to do before we get back to the point where we were trading at before this appeal did hit. The good news is that Bitcoin has been starting to have a little bit of a nice move in the market. I recently just updated everyone in the Discord, giving them my weekly breakdown of Bitcoin, most of the market, and where we can really kind of expect things to go. So far, we are in a nice uptrend since we sold off back in the beginning of October, aka October 2nd. But beyond that, most of the altcoin market is jumping today. I mean, a lot of meme coins are obviously jumping. But there's also some legitimate projects out there that do have, strong use cases behind them that are also jumping a little bit. And I've always said most of these altcoins in this market, when they do start to have some positive swings on the daily chart, typically this is just a bounce back off of the lows, as you guys can even see here when it comes to the graph. But beyond this, let's actually talk about the big news. I want to interrupt the video real quick to let you guys know that I have officially partnered up with Bybit, the third largest crypto exchange out there, to offer you guys exclusive rewards and benefits when signing up with my link down in the description below. There's over $30,000 plus worth of welcome rewards that could be yours right now. All you have to do is sign up, trade, and utilize the exchange. This is one of the best exchanges out there, 24/7 support. Massive amounts of trading volume in a 24-hour period. They have access to pretty much any market that you can think of around crypto. So what are you guys waiting for? Go and sign up utilizing my link down in the description below and have a good time trading. So we did get the appeal where everyone started to, be outraged. We saw, some comments from Stuart Alderoty, from Brad Garlinghouse. Obviously, everyone from the Ripple team really kind of started to comment on this. But then also we got from the CLO at Coinbase, Paul Grewal. If the law is as clear as the SEC Gov always claims, why ask an appellate court to clarify things? But okay, let's have Second Circuit confirm once and for all that token trades on secondary markets are not investment contracts. Now, beyond this, right, we go over here, we have the SEC is making a huge unforced error. They are going to get their ass absolutely handed to them here, especially due to their contradicting arguments, and the Second Circuit is going to establish a strong precedent. And yeah, this is the thing, right? When we really look at what's happening here, if we have the Second Circuit go against them, that's huge. But if they go and agree with the SEC, that could be a very big problem. In my opinion, with everything that's happening right now around the space, especially even beyond what the SEC has been saying, when we look at like the CFTC, we look at Congress, we look at what's been happening around a lot of these cases within crypto as well, it feels as though that the Second Circuit is going to disagree with them and go against them, which is going to be very good. Now, if this does happen, expect some very big fireworks happening around a lot of these cases, and I do expect at that point the Ripple case to be resolved because there's no major argument at all coming from the SEC side after that. But also, breaking news, SEC executive who signed off on the Ripple case appeal is now facing a bar complaint. I put this post out. This is regarding the crypto basic. You seriously can't make this stuff up. The world around the SEC is crumbling, and soon everyone will realize how big of a circus show this agency really is. Now, if we actually open this up, this is from the crypto basic, and here we have the individual, the enforcement chief for crypto assets and cyber unit, is now facing a bar complaint after signing off the appeal against Ripple and its founders. The SEC's chief enforcer could face termination from the bar after a misconduct complaint was filed against him. And yeah, I mean, this is actually very, very interesting because there's been a lot of pressure put on the SEC. Okay, and I've been talking about this openly for a while now. A lot of other regulatory bodies have been speaking out against the SEC. Congress has been very vocal, obviously, without zero motive, of course. But, for the most part, the SEC has had a ton of pressure on their shoulders. But we also have here that notably, De Niro was also involved in several other cases involving crypto projects, including lawsuits against Depbox and also Veritasium. I hope that I'm saying that correctly. On October 4th, holders of Veri, their native token, started filing a bar complaint against the SEC's chief enforcer. For context, a bar complaint is a civil accusation filed against a lawyer. If the bar deems the grievances fit, cases handled by the legal practitioner will be reviewed and the lawyer will face debarment if the association finds any misconduct. So this is definitely very interesting. I wonder what the repercussions would be when we really kind of think about this and if he does get debarred, because if that is the case, how will this appeal look? But beyond that, if we go over here, we have SEC's appeal is already backfiring. Will be fun to watch. And here we have Coinbase cites the SEC Gov's Ripple appeal in a new letter to urge Judge Fela to grant its own request for interlocutory appeal. Coinbase notes that the SEC's appeal underscores the ambiguity surrounding the Howey test application to secondary market sales, further emphasizing the need for a court to clarify at a higher level. Interlocutory appeals are rarely granted, but as Meta Lawman points out, the Ripple appeal strengthens Coinbase's argument for it. And yeah, again, as we really think about what the SEC is doing here, almost every single decision that they make on other cases strengthens cases like Coinbase's, for an example, which is why when we look at their contradicting statements, it shows you just how ridiculous the SEC's argument around how the rules are, clear, there's transparency already. It really kind of contradicts it. There's no clarity. There's no transparency around these markets. There's no rules to go off of. We need a completely different agency. And I've talked about this on multiple occasions already. The SEC is not enough, and the SEC has been doing a terrible job ever since their first major move against this sector. So as we really kind of think about this, what is next? Well, we definitely could be watching the Coinbase side of things very closely, but in my opinion, I am watching to see what happens around this appeal with the Ripple case, because, if the Second Circuit does agree with the SEC, it could be damaging for the entire industry. But if they go against the SEC, their argument gets thrown out the door. And it means that this case is essentially over, because what argument does the SEC have after that? Nothing. Now, building upon this, guess what? Just in, Robinhood's chief legal officer to replace Gensler as SEC chair under Trump. Speculation rises that Dan Gallagher could take over as SEC chair if Trump wins, potentially bringing a pro-crypto shift in regulation. Now, this is very interesting. And why? Well, because if we think about the timeline here, regardless of the appeal with the Ripple case, regardless of, the Ripple case itself, ever since Ripple did get targeted, it feels as though everything has been aligning perfectly for Ripple to essentially take over once regulations are in place. And this is another thing to focus on here, because we have, back in 2023, Ripple joining the BIS's CPMI group. After that, we saw multiple expansions with XRP. Beyond that, in 2024, what we have been witnessing is institutional DeFi being a focus, then the stablecoin. Now, the Ripple stablecoin is essentially weeks away. At the same exact time that we get this, Robinhood's CLO could replace Gensler as SEC chair under Trump. Why is this important for Ripple? Well, remember that Robinhood acquired Bitstamp to expand global crypto reach back in June. And also, here we have big news. Bitstamp, in collaboration with Ripple, will launch their own digital derivatives exchange built entirely on the XRP ledger. Robinhood agreed to acquire crypto exchange Bitstamp in a $200 million deal that's set to close in the first half of 2025. This new venture has the potential to greatly accelerate crypto expansion worldwide. Check it out.
A business or an institutional investor, they also want access to the things we offer. They want 24-hour access to the equity markets, they want industry-leading margin rates, a great customer experience. So over time, I do think you'll see us branching more out into serving other types of customers, not just retail, but also businesses and institutions. And to that end, we announced an acquisition of Bitstamp, a global crypto exchange. One of the things that's very attractive about that business is that it's not just international, but also institutional. It gets us access to an entirely new customer base that we're not directly serving today. I think we can do more and more of that over the next 10 years.
We are launching our own derivatives exchange in the next few months, so that's something we are most excited about and really hope to cooperate closely with Ripple there as well. In final stage of integration of really some top 30 commercial banks globally on Bitstamp as a service. So these commercial banks will offer crypto through Bitstamp. So that's definitely something we are very proud of.
There you guys have it. And, Bitstamp has been working closely with Ripple for a while. And now with Robinhood acquiring them, and then we get the big news about Robinhood CLO to replace Gensler as SEC chair under Trump. It feels as though this is kind of all planned. Like, I feel like I'm watching a show playing out in front of me. Maybe I'm the only one, but this seems crazy to me. And then also, by the way, Bitstamp on October 4th posts this. Discover Ripple Labs, the powerhouse behind XRP. Ripple Labs transforms cross-border payments with XRP and blockchain tech driving innovation in finance from payments to CBDCs. It's so odd on how we get these, weird announcements. And then if you go and look at it, there's like breadcrumbs leading up to it. In my opinion, the way that I look at this is that this appeal that the SEC did file means nothing. It means absolutely nothing in my opinion. Yes, if the Second Circuit really did agree with the SEC, that could be bad. I just don't see them doing that. It wouldn't make sense. And on top of that, we are so close to 2025 here to seeing who is going to be elected. Things can change drastically around the SEC, which would ultimately lead to drastic changes around a lot of these cases. And that is where I do believe that the Ripple case will also be dropped. The SEC's argument here is extremely weak. I've said it so many times. If their argument wasn't weak, this case would have been over by now, and Ripple would have already paid. But their argument is so weak. The attacks on this industry from the SEC are extremely weak. It feels like they're just trying to strong arm a lot of these companies and exchanges out of money, and that's basically it. But to me personally, as we really look at what's happening here, I think XRP is soon going to be unleashed in a big way. The connections are already there. The seeds are already planted. It's only a matter of time. And I do believe that the SEC did open a can of worms that they really did not want to open. Their overall argument is crumbling. Their integrity is crumbling. Their reputation is crumbling. The SEC does not hold any weight to its name as it did, years back. Today, they're looked at as a circus, as a clown show, and I think that's going to be. I think that's going to remain for quite some time until things start to change. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, so notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.